Oh, where?
Bergen County.
Oh, wait, me too.
Oh, yeah? Where are you from?
I'm from Glen Rock.
Oh, yeah, we're from Denver.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, New Jersey. Where are you guys from? I got everything. All right, are we good? All right. Well, my name's Agnes, everyone. So, of course, that means that my academics are more focused on humanities, but if you're more into STEM, I can still answer a couple questions. Yeah, do you guys have any particular interest? And there is a swim team. Actually, a lot of people in my house are on the swim team. Swim and dive.
What house are you in?
Wilson. I'll point it out. I'll show you. You'll be seeing my room. Yeah, do you have any particular interests?
Biology.
Biology, all right. Definitely more STEM related, but I'll point out what I know. So this is one area of campus you can choose to live in. So that street that you saw earlier, that was Green Street. So Green Street is sort of stereotyped as the more studious, more quiet area of campus. The great thing about Green Street, though, is that it's right next to your academic building. So if you want, you can just roll out of bed and then in 2 minutes get to where you need to be. So where I live is the Quad, and that's kind of the furthest point away from your academic buildings. Personally, I actually really like it, though, but I'll talk more about that later. So this part over here is the science quad. So if you are going to take STEM quad, you can also see some of the construction going on with Nielsen, but I'll also talk more about that later. So for me, my favorite memory of the science quad, even though I don't really do STEM, safety. Yeah. So even though I don't really take STEM classes, I still have taken a couple. One of my favorite ones is astronomy. They do have astronomy classes for non-STEM majors, so that was really convenient for me because I'm not exactly great at math. And I kind of didn't want a super math-heavy class. And the astronomy of the buildings has little places where you can set up telescopes. And so we would have to go to star parties, which was really cute, for our class. And you could see the ring and everything, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So yeah, Smith definitely has a lot of different classes, even if you're not really sure if you are able to handle vice versa with more writing-based classes as well. So this is Paradise Pond. Yeah, it's really, really nice. When it gets warmer out, the boathouse will open up, and with your ID card, you on the pond. And this building here is the crew house. Along with being there for the crew team, on the second floor, there's this really beautiful, a lot of dance classes take place in the crew house. So I took a tango class in the crew house, and it was gorgeous, just like dancing tango in front of the pond. Yeah, and also like at one point someone shouted, "Otter!" and we all ran to the windows and there were 2 otters out in the pond. It was amazing. That was like an incredible day. Yeah. If you have some extra time, I would really suggest that you go to the Botanic Garden here. So the Botanic Garden has these gorgeous flower shows every semester. In the fall semester, they have the mum show for chrysanthemums, and during the spring, they have the bulb show for tulips. The bulb show ended a couple weeks ago, but they still might have some tulips remaining. It's really, really beautiful. You should check it out. And they also have like one section dedicated for succulents, so if you really like succulents, it's a good place to go and check out. Do you guys have any questions? That's fine. how far is Smith from Northampton? So basically right next to Northampton. Some houses like Albright and Baldwin are Northampton, and maybe go to a cafe or something. It might take me like an actual 15-minute walk. Yeah, it really depends. Far away from Northampton, which is nice. If you want to go out and do something, it's a viable option. So we're starting to head towards a bit of a walk from the academic buildings. But personally, I actually really enjoy this walk. I'm actually not a person that likes to exercise a lot. So for me, this mandated walk from the quad to my academic buildings is really helpful because it's sort of like a time set into my schedule where I have to do a little bit of exercise. And it also has a really gorgeous view here. Yeah, I don't know if you can walk all the way around the pond, but I've heard that there are some trails and stuff for hiking. I wouldn't really know.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a really gorgeous view. You can go like right down by the pond as well. If you have time, like just walk along the pond. It's really great. And this building here is the president's house. So this is where the president of Smith College lives. The president of Smith College is actually really nice. So I'm part of wind ensemble. I play the flute. Yeah, so, oh, you could totally join wind ensemble. Wind ensemble's super chill. One thing we always do with wind ensemble is we go around to different parts of campus, play a piece of music. We call it like our walk around house. And she just opens the door and it's like, hey, you guys want to come? So we were just playing, I think it was Dancing Queen that year. So we played Dancing Queen for her in her living room. So that was great. This year we're playing All Star by Smash Mouth. The thing with the quad is that each house tends to have more people in it than other areas on campus. So for example, my house is actually the biggest house on campus. We have a little over 100 people in our house. But most other quad houses are around like, houses can range anywhere from like 20 to 40 to 60. So if you want the quad is also really nice because there are a lot more singles in every house. So if you want a single as early on as possible for your time at Smith, the quad would be a really good choice. For me, I actually had a single my first year, so it's totally possible. And in my house, and actually these two houses right here, they are almost all singles, so if you want a single. Another perk of the quad is how beautiful it is. I really like just looking out. When it gets really nice out, you'll always see tons of people doing homework, sometimes with friends, so it's really nice. And this, it's the best house, no bias. So the cool thing about Wilson House is that we have that little clock tower with a bell on top, actually. So at Smith, we have this really cool tradition called Mountain Day. So on Mountain Day, the day in fall semester, it's so nice that the president decides, you know what, students shouldn't be inside taking classes, doing work, they should be outside. So she cancels all the classes. At 7 a.m. on this random morning, all the bells across campus ring. And because my house has a bell on top, if we get up and sort of predict that that day is Mountain Day, you can actually do the first ringing of the bells. It's really cool.
How do you predict that it's Mountain Day?
You just get up every morning and see if it's Mountain Day. Yeah. Although there was a week where we were like, it has to be Mountain Day this week. So we kept on getting up early, and one day it finally was. Hi. Okay. So this is an example of a dining hall at Smith. So not every house has a dining hall, but if your house doesn't have a dining hall, it most likely has a kitchen. We got lucky because we have a dining hall and a kitchen. So as you might have seen me, wait, I gotta cover the picture. So this is my ID card. This is what I use to get us into the house. This way I know I'm safe at Smith because no random person can just walk in. They have to have this, have their own ID card. Also, we use these to swipe in for meals at dining halls. We actually have unlimited amount of swipes, so you can eat as much as you want and at as many places you want. There's kind of this challenge to go to every single dining hall in a single meal, and you have to sit down and eat at least one thing. So I'm planning on doing it this year. Wish me luck.
How many dining halls are?
I don't remember the exact number, but within each area of campus, there's quite a few. So, each one usually, each one usually has a variety as well. So Smith is always trying their best to meet everyone's dietary restrictions. We have a gluten-free dining hall. We always have vegan and vegetarian options at every dining hall, and we have a vegan vegetarian only dining hall. We have a nut-free dining hall. So Smith is always trying to make sure that we can meet everyone's needs. And if you want, you could go to one place for a meal, go to another dining hall for a dessert, and then go to another dining hall for another dessert, which is really nice. Do you guys have any questions?
It's always unlimited all your 4 years you're here?
Yes. Any other questions? That's fine. We can move on. So this is my house's living room. As you can see, it's really nice. Fun fact, an alum made a fund to make sure that every single house has a piano. So every single house on this campus has a piano in it, which is super cool. So as you could probably guess, the living room is the more social space of the house. A lot of people like to come down here, hang out, do homework, not do homework, anything really. When we hold events, they're oftentimes also in the living room. So for example, we have study breaks on Wednesday nights, so everyone can take a break from all the studying they're doing in the middle of the week. Sit down, relax. We have fun events that we plan, and we also have teas, which is a big tradition at Smith. Usually they're Fridays at 4, but our house does them on Sundays at 4. And the dining hall provides like these cookie platters and cheese platters and of course tea, and it's really a great time. And so the people who figure out what events to have every week is House Council. So House Council is basically the self-governing body of each house, and we elect people onto House Council. So we have a house president, we have a vice president, we also have really cool positions, including head of new students, who come back early for training to make sure that they can help welcome each new student into the house as best as possible. And we also have student academic advisors who also come back early for training to make sure that they can do their best to help all the new students figure out how registration works, because it's always a frustrating time for everyone. House Council really helps plan these events and puts on these events. And it's a really nice way to join House community. And it's not hard to get involved on House Council at all. I actually got involved in my first year, and next year I'm going to be the House president. So I wasn't expecting it to happen either. I was like, oh my God, like this is where my life is now. Do you guys have any questions?
How old is this house?
It's definitely not the oldest house on campus. I think 1900 something. Not entirely sure, but parts of it have been renovated. You guys have any other questions? All right, we can go up and see my room. I promise I cleaned. So something we like to do at the beginning of the year is do face boards. So people go down, take a piece of construction paper, write some facts about themselves, and we paste them on these walls. Yeah, so this is my room. This is, I guess, a typical size for a single, honestly. I've seen some that are slightly smaller, but I've seen some that are much larger as well, so it really depends. You get like the hardwood floor. Certain other houses don't have that, but I really like this sort of feel. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about housing at Smith? Another fun thing about Smith is that within each house, there's all 4 years living in it, so there's no like first-year dorm where everyone is shut together and has no idea what to do together, but rather we have people who are in the class years above us who we can ask for help. I remember when I first came to Smith, I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and some of the people in the year above me were like, hey, like, do you want us to help you figure out your life? And I was like, please. And it was actually really nice. And you get a lot of advice just by being around people who like know a little bit more about Smith than you do. One of my friends was basically like, hey, like I'm a sociology major. I think you would really like it. You should try the intro class. And I took it and I loved it. And now I'm a sociology major. So you can really learn a lot. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions?
Is there Wi-Fi?
Yes, there's Wi-Fi.
Outside in quad too, or just in the?
Yeah, everyone on campus has Wi-Fi.
But I mean, in the.
Like if you're outside.
In the
Yeah.
space. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you can hang out outside and study.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Any other questions? All right, we can head out. I know it's hot. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Nice
So
room.
there's no air conditioning?
The quad does not have air conditioning, but some of the newer houses do have air conditioning.
Just leave the windows open and have
Yeah,
your fan, right?
yeah,
There
the
is your
fan is
There it is.
essential. I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah.
So are all of these singles?
Yes. So in this house, only the 4th floor has doubles. Otherwise, this house is only singles.
Is this the house you want to get placed in?
No, it wasn't. I did not want to live in the quad.
Really?
Yeah, it was like the middle of the pack in terms of my choices. In case you guys don't know about the housing forms yet, the housing forms basically require you to rank what area you would prefer to be in, like 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the quad was like 3 for me or something, 3 and 4, because it's split between East Quad and West Quad. I think I wanted to live on Green Street, but I got placed here. I loved the house community, and I decided to stay here. So
Can you change if you want?
you can. You can totally change between houses if you want to.
Do any of the houses have elevators?
Yes, yes.
This one?
No.
Cause I was like carrying my stuff upstairs. I was like, so how you gonna get all that stuff upstairs? Are you moving?
When you first move in as a new student, the nice thing is that the head of new students and the you bring yourself up to your room, which is really cute. Yeah.
I feel like on the 4th floor and that's driving.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, but you kind of get used to it. So yeah, I really love getting to just see this green expanse. And Smith is really well known for its housing, the idea that we come back to a home rather than like a dorm, and it really helps build this sense of community here at Smith. So I really like it. Does anyone have any questions? That's fine.
Is there anything you wish you knew before you came here?
Ooh, it's always a tough one. Let me think. My answer changes every time. Aware that the food for me, it was hard to. I only ate Chinese food really, and like coming here, I was kind of like vegetables that are cooked, like because I never really used to eat salad, just vegetables, and that's how we would eat at home. But for me, that kind of adjustment was a little bit harder, I think, but it took a while. Honestly, it did take a while, but it's fine.
Like almost every culture food around Northampton?
In terms of the town, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, but Smith doesn't necessarily make it per se. Yes. Yeah. Good. Yeah, so the quad is definitely one area you can choose to live in, but you don't have to live here. Just feel like it's not the right fit for you, you are totally welcome to move around as well. Lots of people at Smith like to move around. Anna. Such a nice day. Did you guys stay overnight last night? Yeah. Oh, Talbot. What house were you in? Sorry, can I see? Who do you have? Okay, I don't know who that is. Yeah, so Mora House is right next to Wilson House. Any other questions? So this is another house you can live in. This is Park House. It's kind of in between the quads, and so sort of stands alone in that sense. But it's kind of nice if you want to like get quad, but not quite quad feel. Being around this area down here as well, next to the So now we're starting to head more into Central Campus. There are a couple of houses you can choose to live in on this area as well, academic buildings. But again, don't let anyone on Central Campus hear me say that though.
Are they allowed dogs?
Yeah, totally. You've probably seen quite a few dogs at this point. Yeah, you'll oftentimes see people walking their dogs here.
Do you have a dog in your room?
So we do have something called, if you apply to ODS, Office of Disability Services, you can have an emotional support animal.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there is a process to. So this is Chapin House here. Chapin House has grab and go, so during you're late to a meeting, you can stop by Chapin.
Where's the bookstore?
Oh, we're getting there. I'll show you.
Because they do a lot of.
Hey. Right here. So this is the campus center. This is sort of the social hub of campus. There's a lot of offices here. This is also where you pick up your mail. A lot of people like to come here and study as well. There's a couple of chairs and tables around here, and a couple of little study spaces hidden away. So I like to come to the campus center to check out what sort of things are happening on campus. You see all these like really cute posters letting you know what kinds of things are happening. and it's really nice to just come by here and just be like, oh look, there's like a craft night happening soon. I think I'll go. And yeah, there's also Legally Blonde happening. I have quite a few friends who are in the musical, so it's really cool to see. The campus center also has the cafe, and at the beginning of every year, Smith gives you $25 to use at the cafe. So the cafe is separate from your meal plan. You will have to spend money if you want to eat at the cafe, but there's lots of great drinks there. You know, like you end up spending like $25 in like the week. You get it. Oh God, I just drink all the smoothies. It's really bad. Yeah, and also downstairs, that's where you pick up your mail. It's a really easy process. They let you know that there's mail and you just go there. And also the bookstore is downstairs. So the bookstore is where we get our textbooks, apparel as well. So yeah, lots of options. You guys have any questions?
I got a question. No, we're not in the dorms anymore. How do you guys do laundry?
So the laundry's within our houses. Most houses have it in their basement or their first floor. There's like a little room for it. We actually just got part of our house renovated, so we have like a brand new laundry room and everything, which is really nice.
Is it free or
You do have to pay, but with your ID card, it's a little bit cheaper. If you use quarters, I believe it's $150, but if you use your ID card, I think it's $135. So it's a little cheaper with your card. Any other questions? All right, you can keep going then. Oh, sorry. So this is John M. Green Hall. So this is where we hold our really big events. If we have any good speakers, well, all the speakers we invite are good, but if we invite really famous speakers, this is where they come and talk. Right in front of JMG is the bus stop. So Smith is part of the 5-college consortium. What that means is that we have like links to UMass Amherst, Hampshire, Mount Holyoke, and of course Smith. So we can go to each other's campuses for free with our card on the PIVTA, the Pioneer Valley Transportation Authority. We can also take classes there. So I'm actually taking a UMass class right now. So UMass is about 40-ish minutes away. It's a nice time to take a nap, honestly. Getting more interested in Asian American studies. So I'm taking a sociology class on media, pop culture, and Asian American studies. It's really interesting. Duck through the... And you can see part of Nielsen construction here. So you saw some of the construction of Nielsen Library going on across campus. So Nielsen was our main library, but Smith wants to continue its responsibility towards sustainability and accessibility. So we're doing some reconstruction with the library. So this is sort of the idea of what the new library would look like. The architect behind the new Nielsen is Maya Lin, who you might know is the architect behind the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in DC. So we're very excited to have her redesign our library. And there's construction going on right now. So with the library system, of course, a lot of people like to come to the libraries. So beyond just Nielsen, we actually have 3 more libraries, so there's no concern about not having a library anymore. So this is one of them. This is Hillier Art Library. And of course, it's more dedicated towards the arts specifically. Our main library is the Young Science Library, and that's in the science quad, as I pointed out to you earlier. So again, with the library system, because we're part of the 5-college consortium, what that means is that we have access to the other colleges' libraries. So that means you literally have millions of books at your disposal. You can borrow books really easily. It's an online process. You just click request book, and it'll come within 1 to 2 days. It's a very quick process. You might have seen all the books stacked on my table in my room because I'm doing some research. I've really been relying on the library pretty heavily. And the libraries are really great places to come and study. If you want to do any printing, you can do it here. It does cost money, but it's not so bad. And at the beginning of every year, Smith actually gives you a free $5, also on your one card, your ID card, for printing. Do you guys have any questions about the libraries? That's fine. That the atrium, that middle section between the library and the Smith College Museum of Art, has sort of been turned into a study space. 2 study spaces because Nielsen is under construction. So we do have lots of options in terms of studying. Yeah, and if you guys haven't been, the Smith College Museum of Art is really, really cool. I would highly suggest giving it a look as well. Oh, thank you. Do you need help?
No, it's okay. If you need a good.
Oh no, it's fine. I have a. You should probably. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So right now we're in Seeley Hall. This is the more humanities-based academic building. So this is basically where I take most of my classes since I'm history and sociology. So academics at Smith. Academics is what really drew me to Smith. I really liked the idea of the open curriculum. So the open curriculum is the idea that you don't have any gen ed requirements. When you come to Smith, you only have to fulfill a writing intensive requirement. And that can be completed really easily through like an English class or a first year seminar. And the first year seminars are super, super cool. There's always lots of cool options in various areas and departments. So I took a first-year seminar called Reacting to the Past. Reacting to the Past is kind of infamous on campus because we do kind of weird stuff very visibly. It's basically historical role play. And so we get assigned like a situation and a context, and we get assigned a character sheet as well. And not really. In the sense that you get like a character and a situation, yes, but we sort of make the decisions on how we think history should play out in this situation. And we end up changing history irreversibly a lot. Like every single time we do something totally different, and the professor is like, yeah, so that didn't happen in real life. So we were in ancient Greece, we were doing a partition of India, and we were doing Greenwich Village in the 1920s. So lots of different situations, and that class really pushed me. I came into Smith not really knowing what I wanted to do with myself or my life or what I'm studying. I came in really scared as well. I remember my first speech in Reacting to the Past was really bad, and I stuttered the whole time. And like it was really bad. I think I almost started crying. But everyone there was so supportive of me, even though I was a hot mess. And my professor was also very supportive. The TAs for that class were also extremely supportive. Everyone was like, hey, like if you want, we can all help you out, and like you can do this. And that was really empowering for me. I really had a lot of trouble in high school speaking up for myself, and like trying to like talk in class was basically impossible for me. But here at Smith, I really feel like the community here is all about like not competition between students, but sort of trying to learn about yourself, what you're comfortable with, pushing you slightly beyond that so you can learn. And that's been really incredible for me. Like I could not have imagined like 3 years ago that I would be a tour guide and that I would be talking to large groups of people at the same time and like confidently speaking in front of them. And for me, that's been really important. And in addition to that, I feel that the professors here are truly incredible. I remember one year, one of my history professors sort of emailed me out of the blue and was like, hey, I see that you're really interested in my class. If you want to talk about the history major, come in at some point and we can talk about what it would mean to be a history major if you're interested. And I was like, oh my God, yes, I am interested in being a history major. And that was just really, really amazing. And I think the professors here are just so open because of our small class sizes. Of course, like intro classes tend to be much larger, like maybe 60 to maybe 100 people for some STEM intro classes. But most of my class sizes are 15 or less, oftentimes 10 or less people. And that really gives you that opportunity to talk in your classes, to interact with your fellow classmates, to interact with your professors. And that's been really important to me as well. Yeah, and also the testing is great. Unless you have like a set time for finals, usually a lot of the finals, you can come into, if you're STEM, it's usually in the science quad. If you're humanities, it's usually in Sealy. You come in, take your test. We really believe that people should follow the honor code, and we kind of trust that you will. So you can take your test, go into a classroom, take it, sit down. There's no one watching you the entire time, making sure you're not cheating, just because we think people will follow the honor code. You can come in at any point, take your test, and just start. It's really great to have that freedom and sort of relax the pressure. I don't do well under too much pressure. When someone's like watching me take a test, I'm like, oh my God, and I start freaking out. But for me, like Smith's open curriculum, the atmosphere of academics here, and the testing system too is just really amazing. Yeah. You guys have any questions? That was kind of long.
So for like, when you have like finals week and certain stuff, you like stay up late. So I heard like the cafeterias and stuff, they close like early. So do they stay up even later during those weeks?
They do not, but oftentimes the dining halls will leave out a couple of like food. Like oftentimes in my dining hall, we have like fruit and stuff and a couple of like sometimes like snacks and desserts and stuff left out. And they'll oftentimes leave sometimes leave the juice machine on for you as well. Yeah. So I haven't had too much trouble with that.
Agnes, do you guys have microwaves in your rooms? I noticed you didn't have one.
So we do not have microwaves in our rooms, but my experience has been each floor usually has a kitchenette, and the kitchenette will have a microwave, a little sink as well, and some other stuff.
And the bathrooms on your floor were where?
So it was past the entrance to the stairs. It was just past that. We have a communal bathroom, yeah. And I haven't had any problems in terms of the bathrooms, yeah. you have any other questions? Okay, let's head out then. How long did I talk? Sorry. Hi, Sydney. Sorry. Do you have a question?
Yeah, there was a class I wanted to.
Oh, okay. Do you need to go then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I'll see you then. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining us on the tour. Bye. So, Hubbard House is where Julia Child lives when she came to Smith. And so we have this really cute tradition called Julia Child's Day. And so one day in fall semester, I think it's in late November, all the dining halls cook recipes from Julia Child's cookbooks. It's delicious. Every single group has to make a plan of attack. And so we figure out who's going to go to what dining hall and how much of what food they're going to get. And we all bring Tupperware. It's really fun. And then we all get back together and eat together, actually. Yeah.
When do they expect this to be done?
2020. So I'm at Smith. It should be completed. So I will not get to see it, but I'll be back. Just wait. Just wait. Is oftentimes like the building for STEM people. Like most of my friends who are in STEM just have to roll out of bed. A lot of my friends live on Green Street. Just roll out of bed and get to where they need to be in like 2 minutes, which is really, really nice. Yeah. And Ford Hall as a building is really interesting because it's a very sustainable building as well. I believe it received the LEED Gold Reward. Yeah. And again, this is Green Street. This is one area of campus you can choose to live on. So this is Mendenhall. If you're interested in theater, there are tons of little black box theaters in here. Every time I walk into Mendenhall, I get lost. Then I accidentally enter into a production that's happening, and I'm like, oh, cool, and I sit down and I watch. So Mendenhall also has libraries, really cool. It's one of our many, many libraries. But also you can borrow a ukulele from there, so that's pretty cool. If you're interested in the music department, that's Sage. So I'm part of the wind ensemble, as I mentioned. I play the flute. So this is basically where all the music happens. Haha, pun. So with the music department, there are also rooms where you can practice. It's really easy system. Honestly, if it's not already if it doesn't already say that there's a certain time where someone's going to be using it, you can basically go in whenever you want and use the practice rooms. And it also has that big auditorium, as you were probably in earlier. So that's where I usually practice for wind ensemble. So we actually have our concert this coming Monday. You guys probably won't be here, but if you want to, we have a magic theme, and we're playing Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and stuff. Yeah, and all the way down there is the gym, the Olin Fitness Center. You can probably guess that I don't go there very often, but fun fact, Smith has these classes called Exercise and Sports Studies classes. Basically, you can take and try and learn something new that's more exercise related and get credit for it. So we have 1 credit badminton classes, 1 credit tennis classes, rock climbing, swimming, diving, tons of really cool stuff. And it's really nice to have that sort of ability to try something new. I've definitely taken a lot of exercise and sports studies classes because they're also a lot of fun. And I also take like 2-credit dance classes as well, which are also super fun.
What high school did you go to?
Glen Rock High School. It was a public school.
For the music, do they have a jazz ensemble?
Yes, they do. Yes, jazz band. Yeah, my friend is in it. She loves it.
You have to try out for that, or
Some of them, I will say most of them you have to try out for. I'm not sure about jazz. You do not have to try out for wind ensemble. We're a super chill group. Orchestra, you do have to audition though.
okay.
Yeah, and another big thing on campus is acapella as well. There's a ton of acapella groups and everyone loves a certain acapella group and like everyone has a favorite. You guys have any questions? All right, what time is it? 'Cause if so, we are done. All right. Yes. All right. Do you guys have any other questions? Yes.
Where's the swimming facility?
So it's in the gym.
Oh, so it's right in there?
Yeah.
Am I able to go in there, or do I need a pass?
We have open hours. You will have to check online. I'm not sure if they're open right now, though. Yeah, but there are times where you can just go in. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you guys so much for this lovely, lovely tour. Yeah, good luck with everything. This is a stressful time, and boy, do I remember it. So good luck with everything.
Okay, thank you. You wanna walk down?
Bye, everyone.